Good morning, YouTube. Look at that cloud. I think we're in for the day of storms. So what better way to start the day than with a cup of coffee and clue 3 of the Knits Slipstravaganza.
Section 4, main color and contrast color 3. If you want to accept a mohair dare, you can hold a coordinating color of mohair together.
So yes, good morning. Friday. I've taken the day off. I have taken the day off now. I've got a couple of things I need to do this afternoon, so I haven't taken it off just to knit. I haven't. So clue 3 is here, and in this clue we have 2 sections, section 4 and section 5. Section 4 is going to use contrast color 3, and section 5 is going to use contrast color 2. So I think I've had a quick look through the pattern. I think there are 22 rows in section 4, which, even though 22 rows doesn't sound a lot, it's 460 stitches, so it is still a lot of knitting. So I'm going to get started on section 4, and then section 5 is intriguing, so I won't spoil it. I'm not going to get section 4 finished today, definitely over the weekend, and then early next week I think start section 5. So we may have 2 videos, one for each section. So I've just updated my pattern, and I'm ready to go. Stephen did say about using section 4 with contrast colour 3 and a little mohair dare. Now, he doesn't mention mohair dares in section 5. I've watched the YouTube video now, so I know what section 5 is going to look like. And I'm kind of thinking I might use my mohair in both sections because they look completely different. And I think I've said before, if I use contrast colour 3 with my mohair, it will add a really nice light effect. And then, of course, using contrast colour 2 with the mohair really blends it and just gives you a little fluff. So I think I'm just going to go all in mohair and mohair dare section 4 and section 5. I think it will really make the contrast colours pop. So that is my plan. I've got my coffee. I might put the next Lord of the Rings on. Yeah, well, I watched the first one, didn't I, in week 1. I might watch the second one in week 3. I don't know why I didn't watch it last week. Oh, I was out and about last week, wasn't I? So, yeah, I'm babbling now. But I'm just going to crack on, and I'll record a bit of film later and see where we get to. And with the power of cinema, we flicked on and the motif has been established. We've got these lovely long stitches now in the contrast colour, and I really like the fluffy mohair that is being added on. So Lord of the Rings is just about to finish. We've just done the final big battle. So I've been knitting for 3 hours and I've just finished the 8th row. So we're still on 20-ish minutes. We are still increasing, so we've got this lovely sort of curl, extension, wave, whatever you want to call it. So life gets in the way now. I have to get ready to go out, so I will do a little bit more later on. But there we go, 8 rows down out of the 24 rows I need to do for this section. Good morning, Saturday. And I'm just checking in. I'm going to finish this clue today. I am. We're not doing anything today. We're having a very lazy day. The online shop has been delivered. Lockdown 2 is underway in Wales. So I am knitting. Can you just make out this little pattern? Sneak peek. I'll show you it properly later on. I'm loving the mohair. It's really fluffy. So I'm going to finish this today, and then I might start the next bit of the clue. But what do you do when it's raining? You watch DVD box sets. So I'm just finishing Gavin and Stacey for like the I don't know, 6th or 7th time, and we're just on the final Christmas one. And quite frankly, 2020 is strange enough. So watching Christmas TV in October, bring it on. I'm not bothered. Woohoo!
No, I've tried that. And it just does the thing where it shakes in the middle.
What do you mean?
You know, like it's telling you off. Shaking his head at you like... Brrr.
Are you doing it all lowercase? So Saturday, coming up to 5 o'clock, tea time. And I've just finished section 4 from clue 3. So we've got this lovely little slip stitch motif with the little V's here joining in to the 3, and then we've got these 2 that sit in the middle of this section, and then a 3rd one joining in here. So simple motif, how it continues. I've talked before, you know, these come up and follow us up into the diamond, and now these continue straight on. So I love how we're creating these individual sections, but they're very much joining from the previous section. I'm really glad I added the mohair in. It's given a lovely fluffy texture to it. We've got this weird light because it's tea time. It's getting quite dark here, so this is contrast color 3, which is the tealy color. The mohair, you can't really see, it hasn't actually changed the color. You can, if I zoom in slightly, you can see the lightness of the mohair against the teal, but it just gives this really lovely fluffy haze. I really like it. It's my first time working with mohair, and I would definitely add it into other projects. The back is looking great. We've got some lovely little lines. So the next section is going to take place tomorrow. It's Saturday tea time. I'm gonna have a couple of glasses of wine, and we're gonna watch some Scandi dramas. We're currently watching the original version of The Bridge. So we've got Danish and Swedish subtitles. So I'm gonna concentrate on that and pick this back up tomorrow. So I will check in again then and introduce you to the final bit for week 3, section 5. So there we go. It is Sunday evening and I finished this week's clue. How has that happened? I've actually enjoyed the last section, which, as you've just seen and probably guessed, we have short row shaping, which has given us these cool little triangles that sit on top. So you'll have seen section 4, clue 3, with this little motif. And then on top of that, we've now just created these little triangles. So there are 26 triangles that basically go all along the top. I'm not going to bother putting this onto a bigger cable needle just to take a picture. You get the drift. If I show you the back, the Weaving Steven, I keep saying it, Weaving Steven technique gives you this lovely little line across. So I've been consistent in how I've done that so that the back of the fabric looks consistent. And then because I finished on Sunday night, I just need to sew in the ends. So I'll just give that a final weave in and then snip them. So I'll sort that out this week. But because I've got all these ends, it's just too much faff putting it on a bigger cable needle. You get the gist of what the pattern is looking like now. And we won't talk about this end. I didn't sew my ends in last week. I think I mentioned it in an earlier video. I've weave and Stevened as I'm going. You can see they're not at the end. I just need to snip these off. So I'll give that a tidy up. But effectively, here you go. So there's the start of the row. As we've seen this edge growing outwards on top of each one, then you can see the lovely little triangles that we've added with the short rows. And I think I talked about it in a previous video about how these slip stitch edges seem to grow up in the design. This carries on very much where, you know, the diamond comes up and comes up through the center of this section here, and then that carries on now into this slip section between the short rows. So it's a lovely little design and very intrigued as to what the final week has in store for us. We needed 52 stitch markers, I think. I talked about that in one of the very early videos setting this up. We've not used any of the stitch markers yet, and Mr. West Knits has confirmed that the stitch markers are coming. So there's obviously going to be some form of stitch marker, I'm guessing, at the edge of each triangle. Oh yes, that would make sense, wouldn't it? If there are 26 triangles and we need 52 stitch markers. So I'm guessing the stitch markers are going here. So we're obviously going to do something to bridge over the gap. A little bit of brioche would look lovely, wouldn't it? With ends and shaping. Oh, I have no idea, but I'm guessing the stitch markers are going in here. So that's absolutely not a spoiler. I'm just trying to guess what the next few sections are going to look like. Okay, I'm just interjecting. We'll go back to him in a minute to wrap up. But I realised as I was editing the footage together that there was something that I meant to say. I talked at the beginning of this video about the mohair dare, and in section 4 and 5, I was going to mohair. Well, actually, when I finished section 4, I loved how the mohair looked. And it's a really nice section of mohair all on its own, because I just had these lower sections of the contrast colour too. What I then decided, with Mark's guidance, I wasn't going to mohair all of these because we thought it might be too much mohair. I don't know if that's a thing, but we thought it might be too much. So these are actually just normal contrast colour too. What I did do though is, because there are 26, as you saw just now, one of these does have mohair. So it's kind of coming down this edge. So I've just put one, which I think is quite a nice little fluffy nod to the mohair. So this is either triangle 20 or 21, just as a little fluffiness. But I just wanted to knit back because I know I kind of talked a bit about I was going to do all of this with a mohair and then I forgot to mention it. So there we go. Right, back to him. So that's it. I have edited all of this together now, so you've seen all of this in just one video. Unless we get sprung a mystery clue over the next week, that will be it now until I start recording again on Friday. I realise this is my vlogtober effort by vlogging more, and of course the last day of vlogtober will be next weekend with Halloween. Oh, actually, Halloween, cue a pumpkin. This is a ghost pumpkin, and we've got a normal pumpkin too. I didn't put them there for props. They literally were just there, and as I mentioned, Halloween. But I will continue the little mini-series, so I'll record some footage on Friday. We'll see what the final clue is going to look like. I might then do a video for Friday or Saturday, and then there'll, of course, be a final video when I wrap all of this up, which is what I'm going to do now. So I will leave you here with my little triangles. And I hope you've enjoyed this week's segment. As usual, if you've got any comments, please let me know below. Let me know what you're working on. And until we speak again, happy crafting.